Well, good evening. We are here at the bar for
At the
episode
bar.
26.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
26. I think the last time we were at the bar, I was complaining about how miserable it is in our area here with the heat and humidity. And I got to tell you,
Nothing
it's
has
arguably
changed. Nothing
worse
has
than it was
worse.
during our
Worse.
last podcast.
Right.
It is absolutely miserable here.
And it is especially worse because my air conditioning went out yesterday.
Oh,
And
no.
it was 82 degrees while I was trying to sleep during the night.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
no. Goodness.
And I called my air conditioning company, and they can't come until Thursday. So my handyman, I think, is coming through tomorrow.
Nice.
But
Nice.
it's been awful.
Are you? What is your level of confidence that your handyman is going to be able to repair your air conditioner?
You know, actually, I was super confident that I was going to be able to repair
What?
it. I Googled it today because there was like a power outage the night before, and so I was Googling it, and they said sometimes in a power outage, all you need to do is find the circuit breaker, turn off the circuit breaker, and then reset it, and then turn your thermostat back on. And I was super confident that was the problem.
No deal, huh?
No deal.
No deal.
A little more complicated than that.
You should have put it on ChatGPT. It probably would have gave you the right answer.
Oh.
That's facts.
It's the new Google.
Yeah, that's right. It
the
is
new
the new
Google.
Google. Yeah.
So I've actually been
So-
using that a
Okay.
little bit.
All right, now. There you go.
You gotta verify it.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Oh, you do have to
Yeah,
verify.
you have
for
to
sure,
verify.
For sure. I agree.
Trust
I
but
agree. Yeah,
verify.
yeah.
Trust but-
Yeah.
yeah.
Last year, this time we were talking about the start of OpenAI and ChatGPT
Yeah.
up here, and I think we were all like, "No, we don't like it." I think it's
it's-
fitting right into our lives.
It's evolving.
Oh, well, I don't know. I mean,
But yeah, that reminds me because somehow I was driving along. Somehow I did something to my car where I changed it from miles per hour to kilometers per hour, which is not good since I tend to get speeding tickets anyways. But so I could not figure out how to get it back to miles per hour. So I went and stopped by the Honda place, and I said, "Can you help me? I just don't know what I did." And the guy sits in the car, gets in my car, sits in my car, and is messing with everything. Finally, he pulls out his phone and pulls up ChatGPT,
oh no! Oh my God! Oh my God!
fixes it. So
Well, the one
Well-
thing I know about when that stuff changes in your car, you can't fiddle with it while you're driving because it will say to you, "You can't do this
that."
while you're driving."
I was trying to do it with my while I was driving, but even when I stopped, I still couldn't figure out what I did and how to get it back. So to miles per hour.
Well, speaking of weather, we want to send our thoughts and prayers out to the folks in Texas.
We do.
Indeed.
We do.
That our
Definitely.
recovery.
Definitely.
That
For
our
sure.
recovery.
That was
What a horrible
devastating situation.
chain of events.
Yeah, that was horrible. I was actually at an event
Yeah.
earlier this week with a fantastic organization, Agudath Israel of America. It was a celebratory event because of the passage of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, which includes the federal scholarship tax credit that I have been working on for 8 long years. I should say a version of the federal tax credit I've been working on for the last 8 years. But it was actually a great event. Senator Cruz spoke. He was actually heroic in this process because we were kind of dead until Senator Cruz stepped in and began personally negotiating with the Senate parliamentarian, and our product got resurrected. So we're very grateful to him for doing that. But at the end of the event, Agudath Israel as an organization provided Senator Cruz with a check for $36,000
Wow.
for flood victims in Texas,
Wow.
which was
Wow.
a really kind gesture.
That's great.
Very
That's
nice.
great.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
All right. Well, I guess we'll start with the big.
You know,
with-
the symbolism of 36.
I do not.
Multiple of 18, which is high, which is to life. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, whenever you write a bar mitzvah check or something, you do it in multiples of 18.
Really?
I didn't
Oh, I
know
had
that.
no
Okay.
idea.
I had no idea either.
Well, that's probably why they did it.
Seems kind of random otherwise,
sense.
right?
Good to have a Jew in the room.
It's always good to have a Jew, even one an unreligious one.
Important facts
Oh,
to
even a
know.
secular one,
Important
yeah.
facts to know.
Well, actually, kind of the big news of our podcast is Rachel actually has a gripe.
Oh,
that she's going to share with us.
Amazing. Let's give her a round of applause.
She's finally mad about something.
Yes, my gripe. How
Golf
stupid
claps.
people can be, not men in particular. I'm just saying.
Oh,
There we go.
The CEO of Astronomer,
Oh, Jesus.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I won't mention his name. Like,
It's sort of
well,
public.
it's all right. It's out there.
Andy, like decided that he's going to have an affair, take this woman to Coldplay, a big, huge concert where
Yeah.
everybody's there and they're like all over each other, and of course, so the camera finds them they're looking for like a happy couple who's all over each other, wanting them to kiss.
They found it.
They
found-
found it.
No kiss.
I mean,
No kiss.
No kiss.
And
how
it's,
dumb can you be?
It was his-
That's
it was his
my
employee
That's
as well.
my gripe.
That's
And an employee, which is even,
employee.
I mean,
The
yes,
HR
cheating
director,
on your
by
spouse
the
is
way.
really dumb. Cheating on your spouse with an employee who happens to be the HR director.
Yeah,
really
that-
dumb.
Really dumb.
Yeah, perfect.
top it all
The
off.
HR director.
to take her to Coldplay was
Take her
the
to
Yeah.
dumbest part.
Coldplay.
Yeah.
Well,
So apparently, I read today that apparently this
You're
guy
offended.
this guy wants to sue Coldplay for exposing him.
No, absolutely
well,
not.
well. Listen,
Okay.
listen,
hear it.
listen. We can't just blame the guy. The girl was there too.
It takes
Okay,
two
it
people.
takes two people to tango.
Well, of course it does.
And
He's
I
the
think
married
she is
guy.
also.
He's the married guy.
I thought she was
and
married
the
too.
CEO.
Is she
don't
I
married?
think
you
she's
know?
married too. But if not, no worries. She knew this man was married. She knew he was married.
Okay.
And how do you allow yourself to get involved in this? These are two people that are responsible adults who should not have done this. And by the way, they were in a private, in a suite. Most of the time, they don't pan over to the suites for the kiss cam.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
so they
You know what I mean? He was not
was-
expecting
Are
that.
you suggesting
and-
he was targeted?
And I promise you, if this happens in the future, they will not be panning in the suites. He's gonna make sure that they keep the camera down low. On the regular people.
I probably agree with
The
you.
companies are gonna be like, "Do not pan in the
No
suites,"
panning in the suites.
because the only reason he is caught is because he was hugging her, right?
But,
If they were just standing in the booth,
Well, no.
but
No. The girl, the friend of those two, the other coworker, her face really solidified
it
the whole
did,
thing.
but
Because
No,
she
but
could have
no,
gotten
no,
away
no.
with it.
She
if
was
he went
cracking
home
up
and
laughing.
Said, I was drinking. I was in
No,
front
no,
of
no.
so and so.
he could have. He could have been like, "We were dancing, no big deal."
They were looking for a happy couple. The jumbotron.
Well,
was
but
looking for a
that's
happy
the whole
couple,
part. That's the whole
and
reason
then-
for the kiss
that-
cam.
Yeah,
is
but
we look
everybody-
forward to showing affection with each
Exactly.
other.
But
So
everybody's
they weren't
not a
looking
couple,
for the-
even though they might look like a happy
No, they
couple.
weren't looking for the C-suite per se. They were looking for a happy couple that seemed to be like, that they might be ready to kiss. So.
I don't know, Kevin.
Well-
I've been to some events where they put that kiss cam on people, and you could tell they're not happy.
And some of them are strangers. Some of them are strangers. You're like, we're not together. It's not us. We're not. But I blame both parties for this travesty.
I feel
But
bad for the wife.
It does take
take
two, but
but-
the guy being the CEO with an employee
And
who
married.
happens to be the HR director,
I hate to. I hate
it
to be
really
the-
is
Well,
I
phenomenally
hate
dumb.
to be the millennial in
Let's,
the room.
but hang
Oh, yeah,
on.
let's hear from the
But-
There
yes.
are power dynamics at play here.
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
Well, let me just say
Yes.
this: the HR director should have known better.
Unquestionably.
Not with the C. I mean, you
She
just
should have known better, and she should have
She
pulled
can
out the
easily
policy
say,
book and
my
said,
CEO, I didn't want to lose my job. I had to let him.
"She's the HR lady. She got to go like, hey, we can't do this, buddy. We can't do this. You're married. We can't do it."
Just say no. Just say no. All right. Well,
Yes.
since we're on the subject of sordid behavior by men, so the Jeffrey Epstein
Yes.
remains in the news. I find
Yes.
this. I find
Is he
this,
still alive?
Good God. Well, see, that's the thing, right? So I understand the fascination with Epstein and the files, and is Trump's name in there? Is Bill Clinton's name in there? Are there celebrity names in there? And quite honestly, I do feel bad that this Ghislaine Maxwell woman, the facilitator of all of this,
Facilitator.
is the only person that seems to be paying a price for all of this
Yeah.
horrible behavior.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, Epstein is dead.
Yeah,
Okay?
he skipped out
He
on the
is dead.
humiliation.
Yeah.
He skipped out, and I don't think he killed himself.
But honestly, I do not
you don't-
understand
you
the
don't think he hung
fascination with
himself?
this.
No, I don't think he
You
hung
don't
himself.
understand the
killed him?
fascination?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Really?
I do not understand the
So
fascination.
are you
with
not
this.
interested at all? Did you see the doc?
You gotta understand the fascination when the president actually used this as a reason to
mean,
be
that's-
voted into office,
that's-
so he could uncover this
Okay.
filthy mess of all the
Okay,
nasty
but
people.
Here is my one question. Well, I actually have two questions. I will
Okay.
pose two questions about this.
All right.
Number one, does anybody really believe that the Democrats who were in charge for the previous 4 years, if there was any nefarious information about Donald Trump in these files, don't you think they would have released it?
Maybe, maybe not. But the
does
reality
remind
is
me-
the Republicans ran with this.
Well, not the Republicans.
I mean,
There
Trump
are
has
a
no
group
one
of MAGA
Trump
conspiracy
has
theorists.
no one to blame
They
but
just happen
MAGA.
to-
He's trying to say that this was a Democratic obsession. It's MAGA obsession.
It's a
So he's
Republican
no one to
obsession.
blame, but that
But-
man
but
himself.
They all got to own it.
Okay, but Rachel, this has now become
Yeah.
an obsession by the Democrats.
No,
They are fixated on
no,
it.
they're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. That's
no,
that
they
is
are
misinformation,
not. You know what
ladies and
they're doing
gentlemen.
on board? They are not
We're-
driving-
Hakeem Jeffries is talking about this.
Well, wait a minute.
Ro Khanna has a
Hold
bill,
on, but
you know,
let's-
to forcibly release the files. The Democrats are fascinated by this.
No, the
Why?
Democrats are
Because
saying.
Trump's name is in there somewhere.
No, the Democrats
they
are saying.
have not been driving this ship.
That's
They're
right.
jumping
This
on
is
board because it's a winner.
self-inflicted wound, and the
Yes.
Democrats are saying, "Come on, you said it was a foul. You said you had
They're
names.
Jumping, they are
Let's
jumping
see
on
it."
board. I'll give you that.
That's
But
right.
This is a self-inflicted.
Okay, so why?
driven by
all
MAGA?
right, so why are the Democrats jumping on board?
Because they said
Self-inflicted
we
wound?
got to do this. This man is the only one that can do it. Put him in office. He gonna open the file. We gonna get him.
Why? Do
And
you,
now,
why do you think
All of a sudden, mysteriously, Pam Bondi says, "Oh y'all, it's nothing here. Nothing to see here."
So why do but again,
Oh, but
why do you think the Democrats did not release this information when their Justice Department had these files? I can tell you exactly why they didn't release it, because there isn't damning information in there about
well,
Trump,
I-
and because there's a bunch of Democrats in the files.
Oh no,
know,
oh no.
I-
Because if it was a bunch of Democrats in there, they would be opening
would
it right
be-
now.
it would be out.
So
It
it's the
would be
same.
out.
It's the
It would
same
be
thing.
out.
It's the same thing.
I think it's a little bit of both.
And the problem is, it's probably a
They-
bunch of these folks in
Right.
there on the files, but more importantly, Donald Trump is in there
Donald
somewhere.
Trump is in
Well,
there.
it's not
Otherwise,
only-
why is he behaving the way he is? You know what? It's like it's his reaction that's creating
Right.
this big story.
Right.
If
It
you
is.
just kind of say, okay, just like open it up, whatever.
Well,
Right
listen.
from the beginning,
Let-
it's like it's
let-
the
let-
fact that he doesn't want.
Listen. I mean, I was not. I didn't believe in this conspiracy theory to begin with that a lot of these like MAGA people were talking about.
Yeah.
That this is just a great big deep state.
Oh,
cover-up
yeah,
of-
that's-
right. I mean,
yeah.
I didn't buy any of that.
Right.
Jeffrey Epstein was a horrible person.
Right.
He should have been in jail long ago,
Right.
like well before 2019. I mean, it was clear that he was involved in taking underage women to this island. There are all kinds of celebrities that are involved in this thing. I'm sure there are donors who are involved in it.
Yeah.
That's why the Democrats didn't release the files. And the fact that the Republicans aren't releasing the files, they're probably not releasing the files because Trump's name is mentioned in there,
Well,
right?
they
Yes.
should have let this dog lie.
Well,
If
everybody.
the Democrats
should
let
have
it
the dog.
stay- let it lie, they should have let it lie,
participated
but
in drumming this
Right.
up. I
They
mean,
used it
so-
to get him elected. This was
there's-
part of his platform.
So the other thing I want to point out, which I read today, the fact checker for the Washington Post, which can hardly be considered a publication that is friendly to Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Even the fact checker for the Washington Post has said, look, there's nothing nefarious in here about Trump. Everybody already knows that Trump and Epstein were friends at one time.
Okay.
There's no news here.
But here's the problem.
But,
Our
so
president will
then-
go
then-
on-
But then the question is, why didn't Trump just okay, open it up, let it out? Why did he behave? Why is he behaving so weirdly?
Perhaps because there are a lot of names in there that would create a lot of embarrassment.
You
to a
think
lot of
Trump
people.
is protecting
Right.
anybody else but
Right,
himself?
himself, right.
He is only going to protect himself.
And
I don't know. I think there's like a.
You
I
think he's
I-
loyal to anybody else
No,
but
I mean,
himself?
I think there's kind of like this rich
No.
person code.
I do.
Oh,
Oh, no, not with this guy.
No.
This guy,
They
man.
don't even like him. None of the rich people like him.
Well, that's not true. He's got a bunch of billionaires working for him.
You work for the guy who's going to pay you back. It's not a love
I
relationship.
mean, there's also
Trump turns
a
on
member.
anybody.
There's also a
Trump-
member of the royal family that are in these
Prince
Epstein
Andrew, yeah.
files,
Yes.
and I think
Well,
Trump
we
has
know that.
I think Trump has a fondness for the royal family.
Is not protecting Prince Andrew.
Right,
He is
and-
not
and-
protecting. He is not going to sacrifice
Nobody,
his own reputation
but
to
even
protect
as I said,
anybody.
even the Washington Post fact checker acknowledges that there's no news here.
Okay.
Everybody knows that Trump and Epstein were friends
Yeah.
at one time.
But
this is
why?
this is what's so bizarre about
Is
the whole
that's
thing.
right, because he'll
It's
come out and say,
bizarre.
"Who's Jeffrey Epstein?"
Well,
I didn't like-
Like, what?
He's never said that.
Oh, he tried
No,
to say
but
he don't know him. He
he's
tried to say
trying to-
that.
No,
He
he
did
didn't.
try to
No,
say
he
that.
didn't.
He tried to say, "I didn't know this guy well. We weren't
No.
friends."
No, he didn't.
He
No,
does
no,
that.
no,
He
photographic
does that with everything that he lies about.
There's
Okay.
photographic
No,
evidence. There's photographic evidence of the two of them doing the white man's overbite at parties.
Tomorrow he's gonna tell you it's AI. Tomorrow he's gonna tell you it's
No, no.
AI. That they
No,
made that
he's
up.
not trying to say that he didn't, that he
white
didn't know,
man's
but
overbite.
he is trying to say that he didn't send that lewd birthday card. I mean,
Listen.
the Wall Street Journal did not invent that birthday greeting that Trump.
So,
And now he's suing
Okay,
them.
okay.
I'm
So,
absolutely certain the Wall Street Journal, not a
well,
liberal,
the Wall
not
Street
a liberal
well,
center.
well, the Wall Street Journal has a lot of
made that up.
the Wall Street Journal has a lot of liberal beat
They
writers.
did not
okay?
make this up.
Okay, but
think
what?
they
no-
did not
okay,
invent
but,
this
okay, they
this
did
birthday
not.
greeting.
Okay, they did not print in the newspaper the actual letter or drawing. They have not said where they got it.
You think they made this up?
I'm not saying that. I'm just
What
telling
are you
you
saying?
they did not print the letter in the newspaper. They have not said whether they have an actual copy of the letter.
Right, they didn't make
All
this.
they've said is that they saw proof, but they
Yeah.
didn't say where they got it,
No.
and they didn't say whether they have an actual physical copy of this.
Well, it
So
doesn't.
I think if you're gonna do this, you really, you really need to be sure that you've got like if I were the Wall Street Journal and I was going to print this, I would have printed the letter in the newspaper.
Right. Well, it doesn't bode well for a guy who, got his first highlight running in politics by saying rich people just grab ladies by the pee, and then he's associated with this guy who's a filthy, dirty rag. I mean, all of it
Well,
points to the fact that he
So
could have been there and he could have been behaving badly.
So they actually-
I don't know if I
Correct.
believe he was behaving badly, but I believe he was there. And
Probably
so
said
they actually
that-
rolled out a former Sports Illustrated swimsuit model who dated Epstein in the 90s, who says that while she was dating Epstein, he would constantly talk about Donald, his friend Donald. And then he took me up to see Donald. And while they were sitting there having a conversation, Donald was groping me.
Yeah, yeah.
well,
There was the.
that's a lot on social media. I'm gonna take it with a grain of salt, but
A pound of salt.
you don't. I don't know what's true anymore on social media.
I have
So
no
it's just
idea.
too much. It's just too much.
Okay, but
I just
the
have
Wall
no
Street
idea.
Journal did not invent this.
Right.
But again, at the end of the day, I mean, I get that there were a lot of people in Trump's orbit that were hammering this thing about the great deep state conspiracy theory. The Democrats have clearly jumped on board this bandwagon. But at the end of the day, we should really remain focused on what this horrible person did with all these underage girls. But the man is dead.
Oh well. Listen,
Well,
Listen.
The problem is, I think we're sweeping under the rug that the people that were involved in those tapes with him are still roaming the streets.
Well, see, and that's kind of my point,
Right.
where you have Ghislaine
Right.
Maxwell as the only one. Now, granted, she facilitated all of this.
Yes.
Okay.
And
it's
should
not-
be in jail.
It's not
She's
like
She should be in
you know,
jail.
She's
guilty.
guilty. But I do, yes. I mean, there's something not right about the fact that she's the only one that's paying the price for this.
So that's
Well-
the reason why we want to see the files.
right. So
Right, and-
open the files. Open the files. Open the files.
That might be the title of the episode.
I don't know. I feel like, I feel like there's so many more important issues. For God's sakes, really.
Come on, pedophiles
No,
is really
but-
important.
Well, the thing is that Trump is acting so weird about
Right.
it. That is why it has become the story that it is.
Well, because the Democrats have no agenda, so their
They
only
are
agenda
not-
is we
they
hate
did
Trump.
not
So now
invent
they're
the
just.
story
I
or push
I
it.
didn't say they invent it. They're clearly pushing it. You cannot say that they're not pushing the story.
but they jumped
you have
on-
the House
They're-
Minority
they jumped
Leader
on
talking
after
about the story repeatedly.
The-
They jumped
they're
on
challenge-
after the fact.
they're
The
challenging the
deputy FBI
Republicans to-
director didn't come to work. He was so pissed off about it. So
They're challenging MAGA and the
So-
Republicans to do what they said they were going to do. Open the files.
It's MAGA that drove the story. The
I-
Democrats
I
jumped
think-
on board.
I really think the Democrats should be more concerned about solving their New York socialist mayor problem.
Oh boy!
No, they do have bigger problems. But the
And what do
fact is
Republicans
they-
do? Distract you.
Well, to wit, let's talk about Barack Obama's re-entrance into the political arena over the last week.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know, Rachel, maybe you should talk about this. Maybe you should introduce this subject.
Well, Barack Obama is telling Democrats to tough it up, stop whining, get a grip, stop. What did you say? Stop being navel in the
Navel gazing.
Gazer, right?
No, we don't need any
Navel
navel gazing.
gazing.
Yes.
Well, I agree with them.
There you go.
This whining and whining and whining, and the reality is, people think Democrats are just, as I've been called here in this environment, a having Trump derangement syndrome.
That is
Which-
correct.
Which, I mean, I'm not sure if somebody's gonna come pick me up and give me a test or what's going on with that. But the reality is, it's not Trump derangement syndrome. It's just acknowledging the fact that this guy on our side believe that he is doing a disservice to the country. His policies are ruining the country. And you can't just go on TV and whine about he's a bad guy, he's a bad guy, he's a bad guy.
I agree.
You gotta have a
Agreed.
We talked about before. We got to come up with
An agenda.
our agenda and our strategy, and get through
and
this.
Also, you can't just say that. I would say personally, he's a bad guy, and some of his policies are messed up, but not everything. There are things he's doing that are right, that I would agree with. And so the Democrats can't just say, well, because he's doing it, everything he's doing is bad. And I think they're coming to a realization about that. I mean, you said Himes, Democrat from Connecticut, complimenting him on his foreign policy. And so they're kind of coming to grips with the fact that we can't just say anything you do or say is wrong. We've got to show that we're objective, and the things that you're doing correctly, we'll work with you on it. You can't just say no. That's the Trump derangement syndrome. And system,
But
is that anything that comes out of his mouth is wrong, and that's not the case.
I don't think that's the case. But I think what people are frustrated about is how inhumane things are going. The treatment of immigrants, not only the criminals, because now we know that it's not just the criminals. The fact that after the midterm election next year, his policies will go into effect to remove people off Medicaid. People will be losing their SNAP benefits, and this is going to really hurt American people.
So people that actually shouldn't be on.
Listen,
they can work.
they fact checked all of this stuff. The fraud is so minimal that it is just mean to do this to people. And promise you, I'll just get this last point. I promise you, our government cannot solve this problem by doing this. It is only going to hurt.
Well-
hardworking American people and people who have disabilities that really need
Well,
help.
the government
That's
also
not-
can't solve the problem by confiscating all of the money from wealthy people, which is what the Democrats want to do to solve the deficit.
Well, let's give a little.
There isn't
Can we
enough-
give a little?
There isn't. They give plenty. We've been through this before. But this idea, I mean, the stuff, the amount of misinformation and bad information and inaccurate information that is out there about this bill is absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
And I'll just use my very small part of this. So my the federal tax credit that we got included in the bill. I mean, 9 articles out of 10 that I read about this are just factually incorrect. Factually incorrect. And it's the same thing about other provisions of the bill. I mean, it's just factually incorrect.
But this is
And
American
yet-
politics.
But the Democrats will just keep
Right.
saying it.
They do it on both sides. Let's be honest. Anything comes up, everybody goes out and shares their side of the story, even if it's not factual and true. And that's a problem with our system, period. We are.
Get no argument from me there. But this idea of the Democrats going out there and saying millions of people are going to die because of this bill, it is just hyperbole run amok. It's just terrible.
Well-
it's a disservice to voters because
they're-
it's just lying.
They're already talking about thousands have died already from his decisions about USAID. So,
But that's not true.
somebody fact check it because it is true.
It's not
And people are going to
true.
die who can't now get HIV medicine. Kids across the water can't get
No,
food.
these are people who prospectively will allegedly die because they're not getting all this money. None of that has. We don't know.
I think we do know, and because a lot of these countries are in famines and having a really hard time.
So
They
I thought
need
put
medicine
back-
and
I thought
food.
they- I thought they put back in the AIDS money in the.
They add
USAID.
another $400 million to
Yeah.
it. The PEPFAR
Yeah.
money.
Yes. Yes. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So there are a lot of USAID programs that are worthwhile. I mean, sending rice to famine
Right.
area countries, but there also are a lot of USAID programs that are a waste of money.
Totally
It's,
wasteful.
That-
let me
yeah,
just,
that
you know
are
what?
just like,
I would love for somebody to come sit in front of Congress and sit down, our Congress, our senators, sit down and say, here's where the waste is. Show
Well,
me
but
absolutely
there's
where
a-
is
well-
this waste and
Well,
how do you know it?
So it's not just waste. There are things that we just shouldn't be spending money on.
Well,
That we spend tens of billions of dollars on.
sit down and have a conversation with the American people
mean-
and show that.
Well, the American people have no idea what we're spending money on. That's part of the
Well,
problem.
maybe if these people work more
I mean,
than
we're not an
3 months
endless-
out of the year,
I mean, we're literally
we get more information, factual information from them.
I mean, we're not an endless piggy bank. I mean, the country is
Well.
$36 trillion in debt.
And let's
You've
add
gotta
another.
start cutting
Let's
spending.
add another $3 trillion after the big beautiful bill.
Well, I mean, but see,
Okay,
again,
well, I think
more
we start- I
factually
think we
incorrect
started with, like,
information.
the Democrats are kind of like they've lost their way. They're looking at their navel, and the fact is they lost the election because they didn't appeal to the American people, and they didn't appeal to the working class.
That's right.
American people.
And look,
They didn't have a message for the working class American
Yeah,
people.
not-
That
not-
is why they lost the election.
not only do they have to toughen up, not only do they have to stop navel gazing, but this idea that they're going to appeal to working people by going out there and cursing on camera.
Oh, not that
That's
again.
going to be their way to
Not
get,
that
that's going to
again.
be their way to get working class people to vote for them because they swear in public. That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
that is ridiculous. They are
Not-
still lost their way.
Not the
So
cursing again. Even Democrats don't think this is a good idea.
The path to
Okay.
victory for Democrats is not to try to out Trump Trump. I can tell you that.
Well,
And it's also
I'll
not
tell you.
it's also not to say no to everything.
That's
You
right.
got to be objective and reasonable.
But I believe there has been some bipartisan things happening in our politics, which is great. But Trump is authentically who he is, and that's
Right,
the
and
appeal.
that-
even though
and
he
that-
is
that
horrible.
Well, I mean, a lot of people don't think he's horrible.
They gonna find out in 2026.
Well,
It's coming.
As I recall from our
see,
last
we'll
podcast,
see.
we've got a big bet on this.
And we do.
Yes,
and
yes,
and
we do.
listen,
Yeah.
he has enriched himself many times over since he's been in office.
Well, that is a subject.
that is
that's
a subject for another day.
future
But
Another
podcast.
day.
I
All
mean,
right, our drinks need to be refilled.
yeah.
clearly. So we'll be back. All right, we are back. Our glasses are full. We've
Moved to
Yes.
wine.
switched to a new potion, as we typically do in the latter half of the podcast. We
Mellow
switch
out,
to a new
mellow
potion, which is good. So, late night television is
Whoa.
losing one of its liberal stars.
Yes, they are. Yes,
Now,
they are.
why?
And
Now,
and the most popular late night show. It
Yeah.
has more viewers than
Any other one,
late-
yeah.
and yet they are canceling him.
Yes.
They are.
So why do we think this is?
Yeah.
Well, he went and blabbed that they took a bribe,
You can't do
and
that.
he,
At work.
he may be right,
What? I don't
but
know-
maybe
I
you
don't know
shouldn't
that-
say it on
I don't know
TV
that-
in
I
front
don't
of
know that they
everybody.
took a bribe. I think
Well,
they paid one.
Well, they paid a bribe. That's what they paid a bribe. Yes.
Paid a bribe.
Tell us about
but-
the bribe. What happened? What
Well,
did
so
he-
the bribe, it may be referred to as
As
a
a
bribe in
bribe.
some corners, but so during the
show.
presidential campaign, 60 Minutes edited an interview with Kamala Harris where they took her usual word salad answer about, I think it was a question about Israel. And they significantly edited it for broadcast, and so Trump sued them.
oh wow.
And by the way, it's not
Secretary.
illegal to edit your.
Well,
It's not illegal to edit.
they
It's not
clearly-
illegal to
It
edit.
does happen all the time. And,
It happens
but they
all the
clearly
time.
edited it
Well-
to make her not sound like an idiot.
But
Well,
okay, but you know,
that's
think-
from one side of the room.
Okay, I
I mean, you listen to her whole answer; it is a word salad. It's incomprehensible.
It's a word salad. This is true. But as a technical matter, I think had they fought him out in court, that Trump would have lost the lawsuit
He would have.
because everyone does edit. So I do think that they edited it to make her look more articulate. That's true. But I think that ultimately they would have won that lawsuit. Trump would have lost the lawsuit.
But it would have been
they
well,
decided
but it would have been
to
expensive.
settle.
It would have been
ex-
expensive.
yes. So I think
and-
that they settled for expediency.
Well,
$16 million seemed better than fighting this out.
But there's more to the story there because
There is more
they
to the
settled
story.
it because Sherry Redstone has got a deal on the table that requires the approval of the federal government. Sherry
Yes.
Redstone
Yeah.
runs CBS.
Yes.
She's got a big deal on the table, to sell the company. It needs government. It needs Trump's
It needs-
government approval.
Approval.
It needs
So we-
FCC approval.
So we got ourselves a
So,
bribe.
it seems like CBS did perhaps rush to settle this.
They did.
In order to get
Yeah.
this approved. I hope
Yeah.
Sherry was right because I don't know. I mean, it hadn't been approved yet, so it might have been a really expensive thing for her to do if it doesn't get done.
Well,
Trump is
that's
clearly
chump
happy-
change. That's chump change for
Trump is
CBS.
clearly happy that
Yeah.
the show is canceled.
But
He's
I
like,
mean-
oh, I'm so glad that Colbert got fired.
Well,
So-
I think
but-
I think he's horrible. I mean, I think all the late night guys are horrible.
Oh my
because-
goodness.
Well,
Oh
listen,
my
They're
goodness.
one
So,
side.
all right. So
They're
listen,
one- they tend to be
we're
one-
all we are all people of a certain age.
You know,
Yes.
Bill
Aside-
Maher, I
aside-
say, is not. He
Okay.
does present both
He,
sides.
he does.
Oh,
Okay, but
often.
we are all people of a certain age, aside from the millennial.
Yes.
So we all grew up watching
Late
people
night
like
TV.
Johnny Carson, right?
Jay Leno.
Now, Johnny Carson, particularly Johnny Carson, who was on, who was the host of the Tonight Show for what three decades, right? Johnny Carson was not partisan. I mean, Johnny Carson ripped on everybody.
Yeah.
Which is
Well,
the whole
he-
nature of being a comedian.
Yes.
You're
Well,
supposed
he
to
did.
be an equal opportunity satirist, and you're supposed to criticize people on both sides. You're not supposed to be avowed leftist.
Well, he
that's
just
what's happened to late night TV.
whatever he was, he didn't show it on TV. So he could have been a leftist, he could have been a right wing, but
Right,
he didn't.
okay,
He
well,
didn't
we're
present
talking
it.
about the
point.
show.
And
We're
just
talking
like-
about the
and
show.
just like,
Even Leno was like that.
And
You never
David
really knew
David
what he
Letterman was like that.
Yeah.
David Letterman was like that.
No, he was more.
Down the stretch, Dave's
Well,
True Colors came out.
But But
No,
but
I would
let's
say Bill Maher.
but-
Bill Maher does tag both sides, and
He does.
He does.
And Bill Maher's a Democrat. And
Yeah.
he's
he
not
admits
really a
that he is.
Democrat. He's
Yes, he is.
we don't know what he is.
But
He's a Democrat.
he does
he's a
does
Democrat.
criticize
He's a
people on
Democrat.
both
He
sides.
criticizes both
But
sides.
a lot of people-
He's a moderate. He's a centrist, but he's a Democrat.
But I think we're in a time now where people have hunkered down in their camps, regardless of what their profession is. So everything is blue, red, black, white, gay, straight. Everything is a division. And when you have a country like that, we just you people don't want to hear the other side. So it's just hard to be.
So you know,
No, a comedian. He had an opportunity to
but look,
platform where he could
so
have
here's the
attacked
thing.
both sides.
But here's the problem. You can't get people on his set like Letterman used to do and Carson used to do, because they think you're going to have them on and show them in a bad light if they don't agree with the host. So
That's not true.
if you reach out to Republicans, but that's a different show. That's a different show. It's a different show.
Because
anybody could
he's
do
more
that.
fair.
Anybody
Well,
could
he's
do
just
that.
more. He's just more. I'm not
Colbert coulda done
gonna
that.
state my position. He's more.
No.
He's
He
more.
says what he thinks all the
He
time.
says what I'm saying that wrong. He is more of a person that says exactly what he thinks, regardless of the party.
Exactly.
So
Yes,
he
and
doesn't
Colbert
line
could've
up,
done that
even though you're saying he's a Democrat. He just doesn't say I'm a Democrat and I'm gonna agree with everything
he
the
says
Democrats
what he
say.
thinks.
He's not a
So-
partisan
He's
hack,
not-
and
he
that's the
says what he
problem.
thinks.
That's the problem with Colbert and Fallon and Kimmel. They are left-wing partisan hacks.
Well, they're not.
You know who actually has the highest-rated late-night TV show?
Colbert.
Greg Gutfeld.
Who?
Does he really?
Who is this?
Exactly.
Who is this?
He's a Fox.
Gutfeld
Fox guy.
is a Fox host,
He's
but
tired. He's
but
really tiresome.
well, I find Gutfeld.
Google that. We don't know who that
Gutfeld
is.
is a bit annoying, but he's a really smart guy. But his show is
And
entertaining.
He is not remotely partisan.
Is he funny?
Bipartisan.
He is
Sometimes
funny.
but sometimes it's just like over the
So-
top obnoxious. Yeah.
So Gutfeld is more. I would say he's more libertarian than anything.
Well,
but he has
not objective.
But he has. But
He's
his
not
show is
objective.
different than the other guys because his show is him and like three other like panelists kind of thing. And they have a topic.
That's kind of like Bill Maher. That's like Bill Maher. He always has a panel, and he has a Republican or Democrat or Independent or.
Never has a Democratic left-leaning perspective on his show. Never.
You're probably right about that.
Yeah.
But again, I just feel like if you had an equal opportunity, if you were ridiculing
that
both
Bill
sides
Maher has
equally,
equal opportunity.
more people would watch.
Well,
I agree.
well, when you let the country slide into this deep divide,
What do
this
you
is
mean
what
let
you
the
get.
country?
The
You do let it
the
divide.
country is in a deep
It is.
divide.
You
I
let
didn't
it,
let it happen. I've been fighting.
but we force it. We
Doing my
our
best.
politicians.
Damn it! Where's Joe Lieberman?
Our politicians force it all the way down to the nitty gritty. They just force separation of the people. And,
So-
it's horrible that we
so-
live like this. We can't even hear
Look, I don't
opposing
disagree with
opinion.
you.
We're just
So
going
I
back and saying Colbert had a
Except-
choice. Colbert had a choice. He did not have to be partisan.
So you
That's
can only hear all sides at the bar. Is what I'm saying.
Well, this is why we should be on TV.
We want
Oh wait, we are
We're on TV.
We want the 11 p.m. slot on CBS.
Oh my goodness. Well,
Well, there
don't
was
know.
an argument
I
that
just-
they weren't making money at the late night hour anymore.
That's what
I
they
think they
they
are.
are.
At the end
They
of the
are
day-
arguing that they canceled it for financial reasons.
Yeah,
That's their-
well, because
that's
they're
their
hemorrhaging money.
and they're losing money because the young younger people are not watching.
Well, even
The late-
old people ain't staying up that late.
well
That's
listen,
over. That day is come and
Listen, I
gone.
go to bed at 10 o'clock, okay?
No, ain't no-
I mean, I get up at 5, but I go to bed at 10 o'clock.
I still don't understand the concept of late night TV. What are they discussing on these shows?
So it originated out of
It used to
seeing.
be entertaining.
It used to
It
be,
used to be
but you
it
would,
used to be very
and
Like a
entertaining.
comedian show? Or is
And
it
there
like a
were-
comedy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's supposed
And
to
there
be.
were not other. There wasn't TikTok. There wasn't YouTube, and so it was like you're winding down. Let's have some comedy and kind of a look at the day from
Gotcha.
the,
So
in
it was
a humorous way.
it was a tried and true and very tested format. So the host would come out, and the host does a monologue,
Okay.
for 5, 6, 7 minutes.
Okay.
And then they have guests. Sometimes they would, intermix like skits and stuff.
Saturday Night Live kind of thing.
Not
Well,
like
not like that.
Because it was more of a-
But you would see
more-
new artists. You would see old artists.
You would see
Yeah.
like new
New
comedians.
talent
Like
would
Jerry
come out.
Seinfeld got his start on the Tonight Show.
Right.
He was a
Really?
guest on
But
the Tonight Show.
Johnny
I
Carson,
didn't know that.
for years,
But-
I would like go to
A lot of
watch
people
Johnny
in
Carson before I could, because it would relax
So-
me, could go to sleep, and he was really funny.
So I also got to tell you, and if this is a lesson for the millennial, or not a lesson,
I'm
but,
ready.
but some advice.
I like it.
You should, if you really want to know, what television was like when we were growing up.
Okay.
And I got to tell you, it was highly entertaining.
yes.
You should Google some Johnny Carson clips when
Johnny
he had,
Carson was
like when he
very
had
funny.
Don Rickles on, and the stuff that they would
Yeah.
say.
yeah.
And it was like risky
I mean,
hour, right?
the-
It was when they would say things that you typically couldn't
Yeah.
say
Couldn't
during.
say on it.
So it was
No.
after hours, and they would do.
Yeah.
It was a little more risque.
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
it was definitely. I mean, and you watch some of this stuff now, and you're like, I can't believe they could say that on
TV,
television.
right?
I don't know
Like
who Johnny
some-
Carson
Or
is.
some
And-
of those shows from the '70s, like All in the Family or Sanford
was,
and Son, the stuff that they
the
used to say
Jeffersons.
on the
Oh,
Jeffersons,
man.
what they used
Yeah.
to say on these shows,
Yeah.
and I found it hilarious.
And they'd be
today,
and they'd smoke.
and they'd smoke.
They smoke on TV. They'd be on
course they
TV
would.
smoking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And then people, Johnny used to smoke.
Smoke, right? Oh, while he's doing the monologue, yeah, while he was sitting there.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I remember then they do the blurb where they would interview people on the street and ask them basic questions.
Yeah.
It was
Right.
hilarious
Yes.
because people are so
The original
ignorant.
Man on the Street stuff,
Yeah,
which
Man
I
on
still
the
love.
Street.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's just a great idea to do that.
Yeah, Johnny Carson.
So there you are. There you have
It
it.
was
There you
funny.
have it.
He had me laughing all
I
the
mean,
time.
Anyway, well,
stars got
uh,
their starts on those shows.
Well, all I have to say to Colbert is, don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. Good riddance.
he's gonna be just fine. He's gonna be just fine.
He's going to be fine. All right. So, Great Britain,
Let's go UK.
in a fit of utter madness, is considering lowering the voting age to 16.
Let's do it.
Does anybody think this is a good idea?
Let's do it.
You're in favor of this?
Why not?
Oh my God.
Come on, get these young people involved in the voting process and have a voice, because a lot of legislation comes down and it affects them. So they should be able to go into the voting booth, and this also gives them a chance to learn the process and learn about these candidates.
And also feel the responsibility of being
Of-
involved
right.
and things impacting.
I
them
mean,
at
how
some point.
horrible
Their
is it?
brains are not fully developed. The idea
Oh,
that they should be
come on.
voting.
At 18, they are.
Come on, 16.
No, I mean, they're
16.
What I'm
What?
saying is, if
Yeah,
you're,
it's
if
all-
you're not fully
it's all
developed at 16,
relative
you're not
because
fully
Fully
developed at
developed at
18.
brains are not developed at 85.
And some people,
Like our wonderful president.
some people at 78 don't have a fully
Wait
developed
minute
brain.
now. Come on.
This is true, but relatively speaking, their brains are more developed at 18. They have more judgment. They're less impulsive. I mean, think about adolescence is that your brains are not fully developed, and so a lot of things are very impulsive. You inclined to act
You mean like raging hormones?
Oh my goodness.
That's really that's really,
You
I
don't
mean,
really
you-
suggest that
That'd
there
give you
is a
some insight
difference
into voting.
between you don't really suggest that there's a difference between your development between 16 and 18. Right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
Really?
of course.
Yeah, you don't fully develop. I think 25. I think you
I was going to
fully
say,
developed.
but what I'm saying is,
But it's-
particularly
it's-
16 and 18, there's really
Yeah.
no difference.
There's
Oh,
a difference.
oh,
There's a
there's a lot
difference.
of
There's a
difference.
difference.
Is there?
There's-
What
Oh
happens?
yeah.
What happens to a
Just
young
like-
person at
yeah, I
16?
mean, yeah.
I mean, they get an auto. I mean, a lot of them get
I mean,
driver's
you ask the
license.
insurance industry.
mean, the whole-
the insurance industry will tell you that they're gonna charge you a lot more for insurance at 16 than 18.
Than 18.
They're
because-
going to charge you a lot more
You're-
for insurance between 16 and
And
25.
25.
That's
Well,
what- and that's what
and
I'm
now it's, I think now it's 16 and 50. I don't know. What the hell?
Yeah, my insurance is out the
But I
roof.
mean, so I get this idea that you want young people to be educated
Smart,
about the
socially
process.
engaged
There's
is a
some,
good thing, yeah.
but there's a way to do that. It's called civics class.
Well, we don't do that anymore. We don't like
Well,
that.
we ought
like that.
to.
Well, our Republicans friends don't really want to teach history around here.
That's bullshit. that is bullshit. That
Wait,
is
wait.
We
bullshit.
don't want to hear about that.
We just
But,
don't,
you know,
we just
they-
don't want
they're-
people to be teaching some bizarre, twisted version of history.
And there are some European countries that allow certain voting at 16, like for, your local advisory neighborhood commission or members of parliament, but not for president at that caliber. So, and so I do think there's something to encouraging social engagement and civic
Yes.
engagement. But
Yeah.
I
mean, it's
still don't
horrible
think
that in this country, less than not the last election, we had quite a few people vote, but usually it's not that many people who pick our presidents, our senators, or our
Okay.
congressmen. So,
So-
let's get
so
these
let's-
folks on board, Democrats.
All
That's
right.
the new strategy.
Let's be honest. I know what I was like at 16.
Yeah.
There's no way I would allow me to vote at
At
16.
16.
And I know you feel the same way.
Were you a Democrat when you were 16?
Oh no!
Is that what you're saying?
No, I was never a Democrat, but I would have voted for things like drug legalization and for prostitution should be legal.
Yeah,
I would have been in favor of all kinds of
I don't know
things.
about
Wait,
that. I don't know. That seems like a stretch.
I was definitely not informed at the age of 16.
We were
nor-
idiots.
Nor had an understanding
I
of.
was also an idiot at 18, is what I'm saying.
Well, there you go. I
At
mean,
18, I was an idiot too.
but at 18, legally, you're an adult.
I mean, there's one thing like if we can send you off to the fight in the war,
You should be able to vote. Yeah.
So,
I agree with
that's
that. Yeah,
another
that's a
thing
good
I
point.
would have been in
That's a good
favor of at 16. I used to make this argument. If you are old enough to go out and fight and die for your country, you ought to be old enough to drink.
That's true.
I should. If I'm able to shoot somebody,
I don't disagree with that.
Allowing a bunch of 18-year-olds to go out and drink is a stupid idea.
Well,
very true.
there are not many 18-year-olds
They're
who
gonna
don't drink if they
no
want to
matter what.
drink.
They're gonna drink no matter what.
I mean,
But to
I mean, the law is full of
18,
crap.
you gotta get alcohol, whether
Okay,
they quit or not,
well, we
so.
all did. I mean, we all had fake
Right.
IDs and all that stuff.
My first bottle of champagne was at 16, buddy, on the side of the hill at the
Yeah.
church.
So I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a quick story. I'm going to digress here. I was just out at my wonderful aunt's funeral last week in 91. Just an incredible human being, and I miss her very much. Yeah. But our family had a chance to get together, so the night before the service, I was out with my mom, my sister, and my two kids. And we were talking about, the parties that we used to go to when we were kids. And I said to my mom, the first time I took a puff off a cigarette and took a sip out of a drink was at a family party. And, I was like 8 years old.
Yeah.
And my mother's looking at me going, who did this to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
was this a puff off a cigarette and a drink at the same party?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Same party.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, same party. It was my grandfather's sister. She was one of those people. She used to drink, and when those old folks that have the cigarette and the ashes are like.
Yes.
Just hanging there. They look very cool. You want to do that.
You do
I
wanna
want to
do
do
that.
that.
I did not like it when those ashes were like.
Just things were different.
Things were different.
Well, hell, back then they'd give a baby a beer so he can go to sleep.
Very true.
Little bourbon on the
Little
gun,
bourbon.
right, from eating, right? I
Get on in there.
I
Yeah.
actually suggested that to my daughter with her child when she was a baby, and she's looking at me going, "What are you nuts?"
I know.
Like, these are tried and true remedies.
They are. They are.
It's like your it's like your daughter saying, "Oh my God, you can't go jogging in the
Cannot
stroller
take
with
it
my
in the
baby."
jogging stroller. I was like, you were in the jogging stroller.
You survived.
You were here to
Right.
tell the tale.
That's
I never lost you.
All right, but
didn't scramble your head too much.
So just to be clear, I am firmly opposed to allowing 16-year-olds to vote. I mean, are you guys seriously aren't for this?
I'm not for it. No.
I'm probably
I mean,
not
you
for
know,
it, but I can understand the argument for it, though. I mean, they're
Same.
young. They're young people. They're involved. They're impacted by it. So, hey,
Yeah.
Same. I'm not for
Then
it, but
make
I
them
can
take
see your
civics
point.
classes so that they understand how the government works. Okay.
I do agree with that. We
I
do
do
need
agree.
civics back in
We
school.
absolutely do. God knows we do.
Or let them
Well.
go to a local advisory neighborhood, the ANC or something. Bring them in, but
I think we still have a little bit of time left, so I'm going to hit like on one other subject here. So one of the other things that was in the news recently was Nvidia now being a
$4 trillion.
$4 trillion.
dollar company.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean,
Wow.
the number is so astounding.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's just, and there are other companies now that have a market cap over $1 trillion. But I mean, for a company that seemingly just came out of nowhere to all of
Yeah.
a sudden
Wow.
have a $4
Crazy.
trillion market cap, that's just
That's
incredible.
insane.
And we don't want to tax them anymore. They give enough. Just so we understand. Just so we understand. They've done enough.
He's got a point there, John.
Listen. I got into this argument with my son last weekend about the whole rich not paying their fair share nonsense. And I will say the same thing that I've said to you guys on this podcast many times. I don't disagree that the Bezos and the Zuckerbergs and the Buffetts and the Soroses
Yeah.
and all the rest of these uber wealthy should have to pay more money. But what you can't
that
do.
Bezos wedding, was it?
Okay, it was
Venice?
in Venice.
Oh.
But you can't.
was
But the
insane.
idea that you're going to increase the top rate, from 37% to make it some other obscene figure. I mean, you're hurting lots of other people who aren't uber wealthy. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
and you're not getting it there. You're not getting it the Bezos wealth.
And you're not getting it the Bezos wealth,
Yeah.
and you can't do it through capital gains. You can't just say, okay, well, they make most of their money off capital gains, so we're just going to make the capital gains rate 40%. Well,
But
that's
that-
going to hurt every other
that-
person that pays
exactly.
capital gains.
Right.
So you can't do
Right.
that. I don't know what the answer is, but it's not simply raising rates because you're not going
You
to
won't
get
get
you won't get the money.
You won't get it what you're going
No.
for. Yeah.
Well, taxing the middle class and the poor people is not going to get it either.
But look, I
just
mean,
not enough money there.
But Kevin, you know what you have to do, and none of the politicians are going to do this. You have to broaden the base. If you have 40% of people in this country that do not pay any federal income tax, you got to broaden the base.
Let's do a combo. Raise it on the rich, broaden the base.
Well,
Come
I
on.
mean,
What are we doing?
But how
Let's-
are
let's
you?
get the money from
but
wherever we can
How
get
are you
it.
going to raise it on the rich? That's my question. You can't do it by simply increasing the top rate. That's not going to get you the revenue that you need. It's going to hurt small businesses. A lot of the small businesses and pay as individuals. That hurts small businesses. Small businesses are the backbone of the country.
I'm sure there's a way to figure this out. And in the next podcast, I'll bring those
okay,
answers.
well,
Okay, you're going to have a
We're
solution.
going to look forward.
This from the man who
We are
says there's no
looking
debt.
forward to that.
There actually is.
Who
There
says
actually
there's
is no debt. There is no
All
debt.
we have to do is just
I'm
print more
just-
money. That'll
I would
solve the
just,
debt
I would
problem.
just like to see our credit card payment. That's all.
It's high.
It's
very high.
Solution to it all.
Yes.
Did you want to do a golf score?
We almost missed the golf score
let me
here.
brace myself for this fantasy.
I guess we're shooting a par 5 today.
We're
on
shooting
this
a par
one.
five?
Par
Yeah,
five.
this is a
Par five for
Republican
sure.
eagle because they've had a hell of a week.
Shooting for the stars there, John.
We're going to give the Democrats a bogey today.
Okay.
They still haven't gotten out their own way, and they are whining just constantly.
Or as Obama says, navel gaze.
Naval
But
gazing.
we're going to give the Republicans a triple bogey.
Oh my God. We're going to get rid of this segment. This is the segment
Listen,
with inherent
listen.
bias.
He's
this-
blowing his own segment apart.
This is like the MSNBC golf score.
I mean, could you have screwed up the Epstein situation any
Oh
worse?
my God! Back on
Huh?
Epstein.
How do you do this? You're killing yourself.
Well,
Self-inflicted
yeah, this
wound
is
by
a
these folks,
self-inflicted wound.
and
I
they're
think
running
everyone
around
knows.
acting like they don't know what we're talking about. Come on, this is crazy.
As the phrase goes, it is a nothing burger. Nobody gives a shit about Epstein.
Hey, listen,
Self-inflicted wound.
you should have let that
Oh my
dog
God.
lie.
That dog
I'm
died.
more interested in whether these trade deals are going to get negotiated, and I'm more interested if we're going to actually pass an FY26 budget, like the regular way, I don't think that's going to
Nah,
happen.
never gonna
You know,
happen.
but these are like real problems that we have to deal with.
I-
We have a 20% automatic Social Security benefit cut coming in 9 years. That is a real problem.
That is a real problem.
You know,
And we have a weak president.
we got a war in Ukraine that's endless. That is a real problem.
And
I mean, these are
president,
real problems.
our president right now looks very weak, in my opinion. He looks very weak.
Well, I think
He's begging for deals
Democrats
across the
are-
war.
Sadly, the Democrats are looking weaker.
That's fine, but my
Democrats look
point
worse,
is,
but, you
everything he thinks he can bully his way into is backfiring on him,
But
and he
Kevin,
looks terrible.
If you look at all the polling around Trump, the one thing that always comes through that everybody says, frankly, across the spectrum, is that Trump is a strong leader.
He is not.
But
it just
but,
does.
but he creates the perception that he is a strong and decisive leader.
But that doesn't make you that.
You-
Is the point?
Listen,
That's the point.
You just
the,
said-
proof-
He's-
proof
The
is
Congress-
the proof is in the pudding.
It is, and you said it earlier.
Congressman
We'll see if
Hines said the
these
Democratic-
tariff. We'll see if these tariff
We'll
deals
see.
come in. Putin pretty much told him, "Kick rocks. I'm gonna do what I want to do."
Yeah.
And so none of his strong man stuff is working. So he looks very weak, in my opinion. Regardless of what people say, just because he gets on the microphone and tell you, I'm gonna do it tomorrow.
Well,
I'm gonna get
Kevin,
it done
as
right
the-
away. I'm gonna
as
get it
the-
done.
As the famous CIA operative said in the great film Charlie Wilson's War,
Uh-oh.
talk about the Zen master. We'll see.
We'll see.
Salute.
Salute.
Nice.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Till next time.
We'll see you soon.